Yeah, watch more Mystic Chimp vids.
Yeah. One Piece chapter 1131. Luffy is happy because he found out from Loki that he is finally on Elbaf. This does not make any sense because Luffy has seen hundreds of giants, giant animals. He is wearing the outfits from Elbaf, the outfits of the Elbaf warriors, and in the last chapter, two giants talked about them being on Elbaf, and all the Straw Hats were right next to them. Like, even if Luffy didn't hear the giants speaking to each other, talking about Elbaf, Usopp heard it. Usopp was like, "Oh my god, finally! We arrived at Elbaf!" with tears in the guy's eyes. Also, a few panels later, they are walking on a giant bridge, and they mention that this bridge was built for the giants. Luffy was there the entire time. But I'm supposed to believe that Luffy is so stupid that he had no idea he was on Elbaf? There are giants everywhere. Giants are literally talking about we are on Elbaf. The Straw Hats are mentioning that we are walking on a giant bridge built for giants. And Luffy is just there like, I wonder where we are. I have no idea. I'm so glad it took Loki to tell me where we are at, because I had no idea before that. I had no idea. No idea at all. I wonder, does Usopp know that we are on Elbaf? Yes, Luffy actually says, I wonder, does Usopp know that we are on Elbaf? Are you kidding me? When we first arrived on Elbaf, like 10 chapters ago, Usopp literally looked at the outfits that they were wearing and told everyone, we are wearing the outfits of the giants of Elbaf. That's what Usopp said 10 chapters ago when they arrived on Elbaf. But, does Usopp know? I don't know. But now that Nika became a massive part in the story, more important than, One Piece, the name of the manga, now all of a sudden that Nika is so important in the story, Nika is all the giants can ever think about. You meet a random giant and they'll say, yo, I love Nika, Nika is great. Doesn't matter who the giant is, it can be a random background character. Sun God Nika never mentioned by any giant ever. This is more proof that Nika was not planned for the story and it came out of nowhere. Luffy asks Loki if he is locked up, and yeah, the guy is chained down, like you have eyes, right? If you have been chained down in a sitting position for 6 years like Loki, then you can probably never walk again because your muscles in your legs are dead. But since One Piece has no logic at all, I'm guessing that once Loki is free, he will start jumping and running and doing anything he wants. Loki tells Luffy that if you unchain me, I will wipe out all your enemies. And before Luffy can even respond to the guy, Loki tells Luffy that Shanks is on Elbaf. Loki starts mocking and insulting Shanks. Luffy, hearing that his hero, his idol Shanks, is being insulted by Loki, turns into Gear 4 and gets ready to beat the snot out of Loki. Loki, being chained down, unable to fight back, tells Luffy, I was joking, man! I was just joking! Luffy calms down and tells Loki, okay, fine. I'm not gonna beat the snot out of you this time, but never joke about Shanks again. Luffy asks Loki why Shanks is on Elbaf in the first place, and Loki just says, I won't tell you for free. You have to unchain me. Nami, Chopper, Sanji and Zoro are still on the giant's bridge. And they are being chased by that other giant who calls himself the Sun God. And behind the fake Sun God are two other giants running after the Straw Hats while holding the Thousand Sunny. We see Hirudin, you know, the giant from Dressrosa that befriended Luffy. Him and another giant are fighting and killing animals, and it's revealed that the fake Sun God, who is chasing after the Straw Hats, is the navigator of Hirudin's pirate crew. We go back to the rest of the Straw Hats on Dory and Brogy's ship. And Nico Robin has her pre-timeskip haircut back, because she wants to look good for Jaguar D. Saul. Because she found out that Saul was alive in the last arc. Dory, Brogy and the rest of the Straw Hats tell Nico Robin that, "You look damn good!" Oda should have never changed Robin's hairstyle in the first place. All the Straw Hats looked way better before the time skip. The Straw Hats with Vegapunk, Lilith, Dory, Brogy and Bonnie are about to arrive on Elbaf. The chapter ends with a mysterious woman yelling, "Saul has fallen and he can't get back up!"
I've fallen and I can't get up!
Chapter 1132. We see a giant child named Colin. He is jumping from joy. The child is happy because Dory and Brogy are returning to Elbaf. They are returning finally. Before getting to Elbaf, the ship of the giants that the Straw Hats are on goes through a rainbow. And the ship starts riding on a rainbow. That's not how rainbows work, Oda. Hirudin welcomes Dory and Brogy. He mentions that he killed an animal for the Straw Hats. A feast for the Straw Hats to celebrate them coming to Elbaf. We go back to Elbaf's underworld. Loki picks up Luffy and throws him away like he's an ant or something. Loki threw Luffy back at the bridge. The bridge where the Straw Hats, fake Sun God and the two giants holding Thousand Sunny are currently. Luffy meets the two giants who are carrying the Thousand Sunny. They mention that the Sun God is a weirdo and that he brought the Straw Hats to Elbaf against their will. Even though the Straw Hats were on their way to Elbaf anyway. I guess the rest of the Straw Hats got off the bridge because they are now in a forest. They are in a forest attacked by Road, aka the fake Sun God. It turns out that Road, aka the fake Sun God who was chasing the Straw Hats, he's a massive simp of the Straw Hats. Okay, Rodo is just like Bartholomew except he is a giant simp. While Bartholomew is a regular simp of the Straw Hats. He tries to catch Chopper and Nami while saying that, "Nami, Chopper, I'm gonna lock you up more securely now. You can never escape me. We will stay together forever, forever and ever." I knew this guy was weird the moment he stripped the Straw Hats naked like 10 chapters ago. Zoro is like, "You're not taking Nami and Chopper, who do you think you are?" So he cuts down a tree that falls on Road. Road, whatever his name is, he's trapped under a tree now. Road, aka the fake Sun God, seems like a really weak character. So yeah, I don't really understand why the Straw Hats kept running away from this guy. He's really weak. Luffy could have defeated him in one punch. Did they run away because he's a massive giant? Bigger than the most massive giant they have ever seen? Well, that doesn't make any sense because the Straw Hat crew defeated Oars. They took down Oars. But now when another giant is threatening them, they run away. And then when it turns out that this giant is like really weak, It just makes the Straw Hats look stupid. Luffy and the two giants catch up to the Straw Hats, and the other two giants decide to beat the shit out of the fake sun god, aka Road. The two giants carrying the Thousand Sunny introduce themselves to the Straw Hats. They mention that they are members of Hyruddin's crew. Road, the fake sun god who was chasing after them, is a navigator of the crew. They tell the Straw Hats where Elbaf village is located at, and the Straw Hats start running towards the village. We go back to Tori, Brogy and the rest of the Straw Hats riding on the rainbow, and they also arrive at the Elbaf village, meaning that all the Straw Hats are going to get reunited. Chapter 1133. The first 3 pages of this chapter are just old panels of Nico Robin's sad flashback reused. That's a really cheap move by Oda, but I'm not complaining because that's 3 less pages that I have to read. This entire chapter is just Robin reuniting with Jaguar D. Saul. And the fact that Saul is alive does not make any logical sense at all. Not only was Saul frozen by Aokichi's Ice Age, but he was frozen on an island that was bombarded into dust. The island shouldn't even exist anymore. The new giant pirates welcome the Straw Hats. Hyruddin is simping over Luffy defeating Big Mom. And that's funny because Luffy had literally nothing to do with Big Mom being defeated. Kid and Law defeated Big Mom by gaining bullshit awakenings out of nowhere. If Kid was still alive, and let's be honest, the guy is not dead. If he was alive, I wonder how he would feel about Luffy getting the credit for something that he did. Robin wants to know where Saul is at, and Saul's assistant tells Robin, Saul fell over and he can't get back up! Robin goes next to Saul's body and she knows that Saul is goofing around. And Saul jumps up trying to scare Robin, but it doesn't work. So let me get this straight. Saul was pretending to be dead for 3 chapters, even before Robin arrived on the island. Why? Okay. They have their nice reunion, they both cry, all the Straw Hats cry too, everyone cries. Saul mentions that, and this is more amount of bullshit that I'm willing to handle, but here it goes. Saul survived the Buster Call because when the Marines were bombarding the island, it melted the ice and Saul fell in the ocean. He swam through a Marine blockade with thousands of Marines, including captains, including admirals. So yeah, the explanation we are given is that the flames burned through the ice and I fell in the ocean and that's it. And then he was able to swim away, evading all the warships around the island. Complete nonsense. Like no one's gonna notice a giant man swimming when there are like thousands of Marines surrounding the entire island, so no one could escape. Yeah, one of the reasons why there are so many warships turning a Buster Call, it's not only to destroy the island, it's also because no one is going to be able to escape the island alive. But I guess if you're a giant, then you are invisible to the Marines. Chapter 1134. Saul meets the Straw Hats for the first time. Luffy is thankful because Saul protected Kid Robin. Saul mentions that Robin finally found good friends, and the Straw Hats start to cry, again, while yelling that they will protect Robin for life. Vegapunk Lilith jumps up to Saul and tells him that she is Vegapunk. Jinbe hands Lilith a machine that Vegapunk asked him to deliver. I honestly don't remember this happening at all during Egghead, but maybe it did. It turns out that the machine can create a clone that will bring the original Vegapunk back from the dead. So yeah. Oda bringing another character back from the dead. What else is new? Why even kill off characters at this point if you bring them all back? Lilith wants to build a new laboratory on Elbaf because she has no way of creating the perfect Vegapunk clone without a perfect laboratory. Bonnie asks, Lilith, can you bring my daddy back? And Lilith responds with, yeah, of course. All these Onepiece shills who cried over Kuma dying were trolled by Oda, because Kuma is not dead, and Vegapunk is not dead, and Soul is not dead. No one's ever dead. Kuma and Vegapunk were brought back. All the Vegapunk clones were revealed to be alive. By clones, I mean the satellites. Sentomaru died like 2 times, was brought back. I guess Stassi was the only character to actually die and stay dead, but for how long? How long is Stassi actually dead? Let's be real. Saul's assistant introduces herself and tells the Straw Hats that Saul founded a school for the children of Elbaf. Saul and Robin leave because Saul wants to show Robin the new library. And rest of the Straw Hats start hanging out in the school for Elbaf's children because it seems that they have nothing better to do. Luffy argues with a bunch of children for the next few panels, and then we are introduced to the school's biology teacher, who is a giant MILF! Luffy is on top of the giant MILF spoofs, of course, because, fan service is always necessary. Luffy apologizes to the giant MILF saying that, oh, I had no idea I was sleeping on your giant boobs. Luffy 100% knew what he was doing. The giant MILF and Saul's assistant start talking about Great King Herald. A king who wanted to reform Elbaf but was killed by his son. So I'm just guessing that Loki is the son who killed Great King Herald, and that's why Loki is chained up. The giant MILF asks Luffy why he isn't white, which seems pretty racist, but it turns out that she is talking about Nika. The giant MILF likes Luffy's white form because it reminds her of Nika. And again, I have to remind everyone that before the giants started talking about the sun god, literally the only thing that was known about the sun god is that he is made out of rubber and he smiles a lot. When we had the panel way back turning Egghead with Kuma dancing around the fire, he literally told Bonnie that no one knows what the sun god looks like, besides having a rubber body and a smile on his face. But Oda retconned Kuma's backstory because now it seems that the sun god is known for being white. I hate how inconsistent the story is, but it gets even better. Saul and Robin enter the library. And this is where the story becomes so bad that it's amazing. Saul explains that he fled for his life and somehow ended up on Elbaf. That's the only explanation we are given on how the guy ended up on Elbaf. But it gets even better. Get this, it turns out that Saul somehow arrived on Elbaf. We don't know how, it's not explained. And then he told Hairudin, hey, let's go back to Ohara. Yeah, let's go back to the island that was destroyed by the Marines in a Pastergal. So he goes back to Ohara and they find all the books. All the books on Ohara are completely fine. All of them. Even the ancient texts are all fine. All 22 of them. Yes, the 22 ancient texts that were protected by Ohara, they are all completely fine, and they are in the new library now. They are at Elbaf. None of them destroyed, and months after the Pastergal, Saul just found them all. Now wait just a minute, I have like 100 questions. Wasn't the main reason for Ohara's Pastergal to destroy the library, to destroy all the books, in the library. And it turns out that the Marines, while bombing the island, not only did the Marines not notice a giant swimming in the ocean when they were surrounding the island, they didn't notice a giant man just escaping the island swimming through the blockade, but they also didn't manage to destroy the ancient text, which is absolutely ridiculous. So, Saul survived, the ancient books survived, everything survived. You know, Pastergal, the thing that is supposed to destroy everything on an island? Well, turns out that it doesn't really work, I guess. Am I actually supposed to be reading this nonsense and be like, yeah, it makes complete sense that the Marines, tens of thousands of Marines, didn't notice a giant, massive man swimming through their blockade? That makes complete sense. It makes complete sense that all the books and the ancient texts, everything survived the attack. What is the Pastergal? What is the Pastergal? The Pastergal is activated to wipe everything out of the island. Like nothing can survive the island. Nothing is allowed to escape the island. Nothing can survive the island. But somehow Jaguar D. Saul survived the Pastergal, and the ancient texts that they were sent to destroy are fine! Also, can anyone make this make any sense to me? It probably took Jaguar months to go from O'Hara to Elbaf. And then he went back to O'Hara, and I'm supposed to believe that the Marines, during that entire time, they didn't go look for the library. They were just bombing the island with their eyes closed, and none of them went to check the library. The Marines were like, "Sir, maybe we should go back to the island. Make sure there are no survivors. Make sure the ancient texts were destroyed." Nah, time to go home. Time to have a nice, relaxing vacation, okay? Time to chill. Let's go home. Let's go home. But, sir, what if there are no whats? There are no whats. Stop asking questions and let's just leave, okay? But, sir, we didn't even check if any of the books or the ancient texts survived. Who cares? Who cares? I sure don't. Time to go. Let's go. We did our job. Time to go back. Bye. Let's go back. So, not only did they fail to destroy anything, they didn't go back to the island. And Saul left the island for like months and then came back and then went to the library and was like, "Oh, nice, the books survived. Time to take them to Elbaf with me." Does this writing make sense to anyone? This is the most stupid thing I have ever read. Like, I don't understand how these One Piece reviewers read this exact same shit that I do. They look at this nonsense, absolute nonsense, and they are like, "Wow, great chapter, amazing. How is no one calling this nonsense out?" Like, how can anyone read this with a brain? How can you have a working brain, read this story, and you're like, "Yeah, another 10 out of 10 chapter." Bro, everything is retcon. Everything is retcon by Oda. This is absolutely ridiculous. Jaguar D. Saul is alive. All the books on O'Hara are fine. The Pastergal that is supposed to destroy an entire island, it fails to destroy islands. The one thing it's supposed to do. Yep, this is fine. Great writing. Amazing story. One Piece is 10 out of 10. Anyways, it turns out that the library is overseen by a giant owl. Where have I seen that before? The chapter ends with Loki talking to someone through Tendenmushi, and Shanks, or someone who looks like Shanks, and a mysterious woman arrive on Elbaf. I've already been spoiled, and I know that this is the evil brother of Shanks. Look, is this stupid? Is it stupid to introduce an evil brother to the story, to a character that was shown since the first chapter of the story? I know that now Oda is claiming that it was Shanks' brother who was on Reverie way back. But Reverie is like 800 chapters into the story. And if it takes you 800 chapters to introduce someone's evil brother who has never been mentioned ever, evil brother who is a twin who looks exactly like Shanks, then that's stupid because it makes no sense that no one ever mixed up Shanks and Shanks' brother. Luffy never heard people saying, "Oh, you worship Shanks? You wear the straw hat because you like Shanks?" Well, did you know that Shanks has an evil brother, an evil twin that looks just like him? Or how about this? What if, like right now, Shanks' twin is attacking Elbaf, right? So you're telling me that Shanks' twin has never done anything in the story before, and this is why no one has ever managed to mix up Shanks and his twin brother. It's all stupid. I'm not gonna talk about it. Let's go to the next chapter. Chapter 1135. I don't usually talk about the cover chapters, but in this cover chapter, the little girl from Wano, the little girl with the ability to pull tangos from her cheeks, the tangos that make animals into her slaves, a completely useless ability except when used against Kaido's army. This girl was able to humiliate Kaido. Like, she turned Kaido's entire army against him. And she's not done humiliating Kaido yet, because now it turns out that in this cover story, she was able to defeat Hold'em. Hold'em is ranked right below the Tobiroppo. A girl with no fighting experience at all was able to defeat someone who is right below the Tobiroppo. She's not done humiliating Kaido, even when Kaido is dead. Oda, please stop. I can't take it. You turned my favorite villain into a joke, and you're still not done humiliating the guy. Oda, please stop. Please stop, Oda. You don't have to make Kaido's crew look even more weak and pathetic than it already was. It turns out that the giant owl who is in charge of the library has the ability to turn inanimate objects giant. And the owl uses its ability to turn all the books that enter the library huge. Wasn't there a filler character in Onepiece who had the exact same ability, turning inanimate objects giant? I guess Oda is so out of devil fruit ideas that he started lifting devil fruits from One Piece filler movies into the main story. Luffy is jumping around acting goofy. Him acting like a weirdo scares a couple of the children. So one of the children goes and cries into the giant MILF's boobs while looking back at Sanji with a smug smile on the child's face. It's kind of weird that Oda wants all the little boys in One Piece to be so damn perverted. First we had Momonosuke constantly crying in Nami's boobs, and now that we went into the new arc, it's the same stuff here, but with another kid. Even Sanji is like, what the heck, is this some universal trait for the boys? One of the giant kids attacks Luffy and Luffy uses the elephant Gatling gun against the child. Usopp tells Luffy to take it easy on the kid, and I agree with Usopp. What the heck, Luffy? It turns out that the child that attacked Luffy is a massive fan of the Straw Hats. The kid's name is Colin, and it turns out that the giant woman that I kept calling a giant MILF is the kid's mom. So every single time I called the giant woman a giant MILF, I was 100% right. Colin reveals that his father is a human. Wait, what? How is this even supposed to work? I can imagine his dad drowning in the giant MILFs, you know what. Like, there ain't no way a human and a giant can make a kid. Imagine all the work that the father has to do to please a woman who is like 100 times larger than the guy. I think this guy is the hardest working man in all of One Piece. We go back to the castle where the mysterious woman and Shanks' twin brother, who has never been mentioned in 1000 chapters of One Piece, arrived. Two giant guards at the castle mistake Shanks' twin brother and the mysterious woman for Straw Hats, because no other humans should be on Elbaf. The mysterious woman asks the location of Loki, and the giants refuse to respond to that question. The mysterious woman, I assume, uses Conqueror's Haki because the giants fell on the ground. At the same time that this is going on, the Straw Hats have a nice feast and celebrate their arrival to Elbaf. The oldest giant in existence, named Jarul, arrives at the party. He is revealed to be 408 years old. So there is a 400-year-old character in One Piece. But I'm still supposed to believe that no one knew about the sea levels rising, right? Luffy looks at the giant and he's shocked because there is a giant sword going through the guy's head. And Jarul just says that, oh, this little thing stuck in my head? Yeah, don't worry about it, it's fine. Chapter 1136. We continue with the cover story and Yamato has captured Holden, meaning that a little girl was able to defeat someone who was just under the Tobiroppo rank. Please, Oda, you embarrassed Kaido and his crew. Enough. Please stop already. Please just stop embarrassing Kaido. He's already dead. He's already dead. Stop embarrassing him any worse than he already has been embarrassed by your writing. We continue with the last chapter. Everyone is still drinking and having a good time. The giants talk about Oars and Usopp takes all the credit in defeating him. Yeah, so Usopp claims that he single-handedly defeated Oars. So now all the giants believe that Usopp is an amazing warrior. None of the Straw Hats tell Usopp to shut up, so I guess they are okay with him taking all the credit when it comes to defeating Oars. Sanji simps for the giant women, of course. Rodo begs for forgiveness for kidnapping the Straw Hats at the beginning of the arc, and also for pretending to be the Sun God, chasing them around in a skull mask, and yelling that he wants them for himself. Rodo is a weird character. The giants stare at Jinbe because they have never seen a fishman before. By the way, I completely forgot that Jinbe was even in the story. He hasn't done anything. Like the last relevant thing that Jinbe did was defeating Who's Who way back at Wano. It turns out that Road is complete joke like Usopp and Buggy, so it's funny to think that the Straw Hats kept running away from him when any of them could have easily defeated the guy. Beard Hill Jarul starts dropping massive lore about the Sun God. It turns out that every time the world has been destroyed, Nika arrives to save everyone. So this is more proof that Oda turned Luffy into the generic chosen one trope. All the giants say that they idolize Nika, that everyone born in Elbaf idolizes Nika, and again I find this to be very inconsistent because if the giants idolize Nika, why did no giant ever mention Nika once before Egghead arc? It's not like we never saw any giants, there were many giants in the story, but none of them ever mentioned Nika once. The giants mention Loki and Luffy asks if Loki is a good guy, and the giants just tell Luffy No! Loki is a monster! Ah! We get a small backstory of Loki from the giants. The giants mention that Loki, at the age of 10, killed the royal family horse. Loki also turned Elbaf's underworld into his plaything, and he unleashed the giant vicious animals from the underworld on Elbaf's villages as a joke. Loki also killed the beloved king of Elbaf, a king that everyone looked up to. And Jarul tried to stop Loki, and Loki just stabbed a sword through the guy's head. So this is a backstory on why the oldest giant in Elbaf has a sword going through his head. I'm still not sure why no one pulled the sword out. Luffy starts ranting to Zoro about Loki, because he believed that Loki was a good guy. Now knowing that Loki is evil, he still wants to see the guy, because Loki told Luffy that he knows where Shanks is. Luffy, Zoro, Nami and Road, who is apparently Nami's servant now, all head towards the location of Loki. Zeus tells Road that he is Nami's servant, number 3. Why is Road number 3? Well, because Zeus is number 1, Sanji is number 2. Damn! Nami has so many simps. It's unreal! The mysterious woman who is revealed as Kanko and Shanks' twin brother are in front of Loki, threatening to kill the guy. Oops. Did I say kill? I'm a YouTuber. I'm supposed to say Minecrafted himself. They wanted to Minecraft Loki. But for real, is anyone else getting pissed off of the fact that all the YouTubers are self-censoring themselves? They're using words like Minecraft instead of kill, instead of murder, massacre. Before Kanko and Shanks' twin brother can do anything, a giant wolf jumps out of nowhere to defend Loki. And the wolf is stopped by what looks like bandages. So yeah, it seems that Kanko has the ability to manipulate bandages? What is she, a mummy? Loki is actually worried about the wolf, and Shanks' twin brother tells Loki, if you join the God's Knights, we will spare the wolf's life. Loki does not seem like a villain at all, because the guy is crying about a wolf. Loki decides to reject Shanks' twin brother's offer, and I have to remind everyone that it's Shanks' twin brother, so you all realize how stupid this all is. But yeah, he rejects the offer and just tells the guy that the wolf will die a warrior's death. Chapter 1137. The Straw Hats arrive at the castle, where Shanks and Kanko first appeared at. Rodo tells the Straw Hats that no one has entered the castle after Loki killed the king, but they notice that someone has broken through the castle's door. They enter a room filled with nothing but the skulls of giants, and Rodo reveals that Loki slaughtered over 100 warriors in the castle. Luffy, being a stupid character, starts climbing on the skulls of the dead giants and starts goofing around like an idiot, disrespecting the dead. I still can't believe this moron was made into a Yonko by Oda. The Yonko title is a joke. It's also revealed that Hairudin and Loki are brothers. If you don't remember who Hairudin is, I don't blame you. The guy is barely relevant to the story. We see a small flashback with Hairudin yelling that he will be the king of giants, and that part made me laugh so hard, because I still remember how he was easily defeated by Luffy during Dressrosa. Luffy didn't even use Gear 4 or 5 back then. We have Rodo saying that I will help Hairudin, my friend's dream of becoming the king of giants. That dream will become reality. The only way I see Hairudin becoming the king of anything is if he gets a random nonsense power up out of nowhere, just like Luffy. That's literally the only way this weak character can become a king. We go back to Elbaf's underworld, and Kanko, using her bandage arrow ability, attacks Loki. Shanks' twin brother asks Loki to join the Holy Knights, and Loki rejects the offer. Shanks' twin brother is revealed to be a holy knight named Figarland Shamrock. But I'll just call him Shanks' twin brother because that's way more funny because of how stupid it is that Shanks has a twin brother that has never been mentioned in 1100 chapters of the story. Turns out that Shanks' twin brother wants to take Elbaf under the world government's control. Personally, I just find it weird that every single time the Straw Hats go literally anywhere, we have random villains arriving on the same island. The Straw Hats can go vacationing anywhere, they can just go to a random island to chill, and the random villains will arrive and say, "We want to take over this island, we're evil." Every single time. Has there been a single time in the story where Straw Hats go somewhere and there are no villains? Like, it's ridiculous. If I lived in the One Piece universe and I saw Straw Hats coming to my island, I would tell them, go away, Straw Hats, I don't want you here. Because when you come here, there are going to be evil villains that also will come after you. I don't want evil villains on my island. Go away, please. Straw Hats, please leave. The giants mention that no outsiders visit Elbaf, and the moment that the Straw Hats arrive, we also have the Holy Knights arriving on the island right after the Straw Hats, like 10 minutes after they arrived on the island. Maybe you are thinking to yourself that, what if the Holy Knights arrived on the island because the Straw Hats were on the island? Well, that doesn't make any sense because I've already read through all the chapters. And I know that in a few chapters one of the Holy Knights, Kanko, mentions that, "What? Luffy is on the island? The Straw Hats are on the island? That's crazy!" They had no idea that Straw Hats were on the island. The world government had hundreds of years to invade the island, but they invade the island 10 minutes after the Straw Hats arrive, while not even knowing that the Straw Hats are on the island. There are way too many coincidences in the story. Chapter 1138. Loki asks Shamrock if he's related to Shanks, and Shamrock confirms that Shanks is his estranged younger brother. Younger brother? These two look like twins, so I'm calling them twins, I don't care. I love how the Holy Knights for the first time were mentioned turning Egghead, and right in the next arc they arrive. Never before they are shown or mentioned in the 1000 chapters that One Piece existed. I also love how Oda had 3 decades to write Shanks' brother into the story, only for this guy to randomly appear turning Elbaf. Shanks' twin brother summons Cerberus, the 3-headed giant hellhound. He summons this creature from his sword, so I'm guessing this is another devil fruit ability. The creature is about to attack Loki. Loki is shocked, just screams, "What the heck is that?" And Shanks' twin just tells him, "Oh, that giant 3-headed dog? That's my sword." Kanko uses her bandage arrow ability to create a bird made out of bandages. Just go with it. And Shanks' twin brother with Kanko fly away, leaving their 3-headed hellhound to kill Loki. Shanks' twin brother tells Loki that if he somehow manages to survive, that he should come and find him. And I have a question. How is Loki, who is chained down, who is unable to move, who is being mauled to death by a 3-headed dog, a giant hellhound, how is he supposed to survive something like that? Luffy finds the guards who were defeated by Shanks' twin brother and for some unknown reason left alive by him. Okay, whatever. The guards tell Luffy that it was Shanks who attacked them, And Luffy calls them a liar. You're all lying. Shanks would never attack you. Look, if Shanks' twin brother has been in the story since the start, and he has been going around attacking people in the name of the world nobles, wouldn't many people just say that Shanks is fighting for the nobles? There would be way more people in the story that would get these two confused, would get these two mixed up with each other. Like, this makes zero sense that this guy has been around the entire time. He looks just like Shanks. But no one is ever, like, confused that, Shanks, why are you attacking us, except for these two guards? So are these two guards on Elbaf the first characters in all of One Piece that got Shamrock and Shanks mixed up? Luffy should have had discussions with people way before in the story about Shanks fighting for the world nobles. So this is 100% proof that Shanks' twin came out of nowhere. Like, am I actually supposed to believe that these two guards are the only ones in One Piece's history who have mixed up Shamrock and Shanks? Luffy tells them that Shanks is a great guy. Shanks would never hurt anyone. Okay, well, what about Bartholomew and his crew? And didn't Shanks just wipe them out? Didn't Shanks just pretend to be these guys' friends, and when they were leaving, he had them all killed? And what about Kid and Killer? Never mind. If we forget Bartholomew and Kid and Killer and all these characters, then yeah, Shanks is a great guy. Shanks is a good guy who has never done anything bad, ever. Even though he is a Yonko, and you don't get to become a Yonko by hugging people and giving them kisses. The giants start speculating, and they come up with a crazy theory that maybe whoever attacked them was Shanks' twin brother, not Shanks. Well, that was fast. Usually One Piece characters are not this smart. Frankie finds a mural on the holy tree that talks about all the gods: sun, forest, earth and sea gods. Remember when all these gods were just backwards delusional people on ancient Skypeia praying to a giant snake and sacrificing their own people for the snake? Chapter 1139. The Straw Hats move around in the castle, and they find the summoning circle that Shanks' twin brother used to get to Elbaf. It's a similar circle to the ones that the Kurosei used in the last arc. And it's kind of funny. If the Kurosei and Code's Knights have the ability to be summoned anywhere on the planet, then this makes even less sense, because they never captured Luffy. Literally all they needed to do was teleport right next to Luffy, aka the Sun God, and just capture the guy. Turning Wano when Luffy passed out for a week. Why didn't they just get all the God's Knights together and then teleported where Luffy was sleeping at and just killed him? Like, why didn't they just do that? Anyways, Luffy takes one look at the circle and mentions that he has seen something like this before. You saw it in the last arc, like a few days ago, maybe even a day ago, and you already forgot that you literally saw the same circle on Egghead a few days ago. They hear a voice, and Rodo believes that this voice is the voice of a spooky ghost. He gets scared. No, I'm not making this shit up. Rodo seems to know this guy. He looks like Scopper Gaban, and I'm just going to assume that it is Scopper Gaban. But since the story has not yet revealed who this guy is, I'll call him Mr. Yeah. Anyways, Mr. Yeah mentions that he knows Monkey D. Luffy as the legend who took down Kaido. More like the legend who gained a bullshit ability out of nowhere to defeat the strongest creature alive, the so-called strongest creature alive. One on one against Kaido, and Kaido always wins. On land, on sea, on air. Kaido is the strongest creature of all living beings. Remember all that fucking hype around Kaido? And yeah, how did that turn out? Alright. Kaido is irrelevant. He was a weakling. There are like 20 characters now stronger than the so-called strongest creature alive. Luffy is the legend who took down Kaido. Bullshit! Luffy is the legend who gained a broken, hacked ability out of nowhere, pulled an ability out of his ass to defeat the strongest creature alive. Okay, I got carried away. Back to the chapter. It's revealed that Mr. Yeah, is the giant MILF's husband and the father of Kollun. Damn, Mr. Ye has to be the hardest working man in all of One Piece. How did a regular dude knock up a giant MILF? Like, that doesn't even make any sense. The dude is a little ant compared to that lady. I don't even want to think about how that works, like... if they had, sex time, did he drown? Did he drown inside of her? Like, Oda, you need to explain this shit. Mr. Yeah tells the Straw Hats that marrying giants is a great deal because he gets older, but they stay the same age. Yeah, okay, I'm not touching that. This guy starts yelling about love and all the mixed races that love can create. Bro, I believed that Scopper Gaban was badass. What the heck is this? Luffy is looking for the keys to unchain Loki and Scopper Gaban helps them out with their search. I mean, Mr. Ye helps them out with their search. I'm not supposed to know that this is Scopper Gaban yet. Luffy finds the key and the moment he is about to grab the key, Mr. Ye takes the key and tells Rodo and the Straw Hats to fight him for the key. Oh yeah, and it's finally revealed at the end of the chapter that he is actually Scopper Gaban. Chapter 1140. Luffy is about to grab the key from Scopper Gaban, and he uses Haki on the key and smashes Luffy into the ground. Anyways, Scopper is just dominating Luffy in the fight. Zoro teams up with Luffy and Luffy uses Gear 5. Super Special Amazing Nika to get the key away from Scopper. Zoro, Luffy and Scopper Gaban's fight destroys massive chunks of the castle. They're about to attack Scopper Gaban and he randomly just gives up and gives them the key. What was the point of this entire fight? I guess he just wanted to see how strong Luffy was. We got back to Elbaf. The children of the giants look up in the sky and they see something. It's Kanko and Shanks' twin brother, who land right in front of the city. They summon a naked bearded guy called Holy Knight Saint Sommers. This guy had no idea that he was being summoned, so he frantically started looking for anything to wear. By accident, they also summoned another saint called Gillingham, and this guy looks interesting because he has the head of a dragon. So I'm just gonna assume that he has a mythical devil fruit ability of some sorts. If summoning the Kotsk Knights and the Gorosei was this easy that you can summon them to literally anywhere, it makes zero sense, no sense at all, that they were unable to capture Luffy. Oda is telling us that these guys can be summoned literally to anywhere, any place, any time. They don't even have to be ready, like... One of these guys was naked, sleeping on his couch, okay? He had no idea that he was going to get summoned. So yeah, the Gods Knights, the Saints, all these characters, the Gorosei, they could have been summoned next to Luffy at any point in the story because Oda decided to write himself into a corner because he decided that all the villains are going to get a teleportation ability. Shanks' twin brother tells Kanko, Sommers and Killingham to make the kidnapping of children into a fun game. In the last chapter, he wanted for Elbaf to belong to the world nobles, but now he wants to kidnap the children of the giants. Chapter 1141. The Straw Hats leave the castle to unchain Loki. We go back to the feast where everyone was celebrating and having fun. And now finally, everyone notices that Luffy, Nami, Zoro and Road are missing. So they just assume that these guys went to explore Elbaf. Rodo goes back to the village, but Gerd can tell that something is up. Gerd is the giant female in Rodo's crew, in case anyone forgot. Rodo, not wanting to reveal that Luffy is about to unchain Loki, tries to keep quiet. But Gerd can tell that something is off, so she goes to interrogate the castle's guards instead. Luffy, Zoro and Nami find Loki, who is heavily injured but still alive? A three-headed hellhound mauled Loki to death. Like, how is this guy still alive? He was chained down, he was unable to fight back. A three-headed giant dog was trying to eat this guy, scratch this guy, and Loki is fine. Luffy wants to uncuff the injured Loki, while Zoro tells him not to do it. Zoro checks if Loki is faking his injuries, and seeing that his injuries are real, he agrees with Luffy and allows Luffy to unlock Loki. Before the Straw Hats can even unchain Loki, Hirudin and his crew come falling out from the sky, yelling, "Don't do it!" They are about to crash land with their ship, and Hirudin realizes that his entire crew is about to die. But Luffy saves them by turning into a giant balloon so the ship has a soft landing. Before they can even tell Luffy, "Don't unchain Loki, it's a massive mistake, don't do it," they notice that Loki is standing in front of them menacingly.
What's he doing?
He's just standing there. Menacingly! Get out of there, SpongeBob!
Yeah!
Chapter 1142. The children of the giants are running away from a giant snake. But before they can be eaten, they are saved by Jaguar D. Saul and the principal, who looks like a walrus for some reason. I don't get this part at all. Wasn't Shanks' twin brother's plan to kidnap the children? So why is a giant snake now trying to eat the children? Yeah, you want to kidnap the children. I assume you want to kidnap them alive. So why are you now trying to kill the children? Yeah, don't question anything, just consume the slop. The rest of the children have been hypnotized. They are walking away from the school in a straight line while sleeping, and all the other kids behind them pass out. Chopper starts examining the children to try to find out what's going on. And then Saul and Robin notice a bunch of giant monsters appearing in front of the village. We go back to the underworld of Elbaf, where Loki is standing in front of Luffy and the rest of the Straw Hats. It's nice to know that in One Piece you can be chained up for like 6 years in a sitting position and all your limbs still work and your muscles have not rotten away during that time. I knew a guy who was so drunk that all he did was like drink for 4 months. All he did was drink and sleep. And after 4 months, when he got sober, he could barely walk because his muscles were dead. But this is One Piece, so what am I expecting? Sanji calls Loki a bastard. Wait, what? When did Sanji get there? Wasn't it just Luffy, Nami and Zoro? I went back to the last chapter to see Sanji arriving with Harudin's crew, and you can barely even see Sanji. He's like a tiny ant on the panel. Loki wants Luffy to release the last shackle, and he threatens to burn down Elbaf if Luffy refuses. We go back to Elbaf village, and in front of the village there are giant monsters, including an evil sun god Nika. It seems that one of the gods, Knights, has the devil fruit ability to bring people's fears into reality, which seems like a really cool ability, I'm not gonna lie. God's Knight member Sommers looks at Kanko and asks her what is her fear. And she responds with, Nika! Oh really? Oh really? You're scared of Nika? Bullshit! Absolute bullshit. If the world government is so scared of Nika, they are shaking in their boots about Nika. They had like what? 1,000 chapters to go after Luffy, and they never did. And then finally, when they did go after Luffy, they sent like weak CP0 agents. All the world government members, the higher ups, God's Knights, the Saints, they have the ability to teleport. They can be summoned anywhere. They never cared about Luffy until the plot revealed that Luffy is Nika. Chapter 1143. The children of the giants are still walking in a straight line, and when Saul tries to stop the children from moving, invisible thorns attack him. The giants' fire brigade. I guess there are firemen who are giants in Elbaf. Yeah, the giants' fire brigade was sent to extinguish the fire Loki caused at the end of the last chapter. And they are attacked by one of the creatures that spawned out of nowhere. You know, the nightmare creatures. All the giants are in shock because the creature that attacked them is like 10 times larger than the most massive giant in Elbaf. Saint Sommers laughs because his thorns were able to injure Saul. And it's revealed that he is the thorn fruit user. That's a really weird ability. You can create thorns, but you can also turn the thorns invisible. The thorn ability and the ability to make the thorns invisible seem like two different devil fruit abilities mismatched together. It's also revealed that the children walking in a straight line, it's caused by Kunko's devil fruit ability Aro no Mi. And Saint Killingham is revealed to be the devil fruit user of a mythical dragon devil fruit. The dragon is a Keelin which has the ability to materialize dreams into reality, which seems really overpowered. You can turn into a dragon, and you can also bring the fears of people out of dreams and make them attack the people. I guess we will see how strong these dream creatures are. Right now they seem overpowered, but knowing Oda, he will probably nerf them in a chapter or two. The Saints celebrate their easy victory over the giants, only for Kanko to notice that the Straw Hats are on the island. So this is proof that even though Luffy is the most important person for the world government, the most important person for the world government to capture, I meant, they still barely even try to find the guy. The fact that the world government had no idea that Luffy was on Elbaf after a bunch of giants from, Elbaf arrived to save the guy, and Luffy left on their ship towards the destination of Elbaf, the fact that the world government is not able to put two and two together is more proof on how incompetent they truly are. Anyways, the children are still walking in a straight line towards the fire that was created by Loki at the end of the last chapter, and the Saints are just saying that if the children go into the fire and die and burn alive, well, shit happens, who cares? We sure don't. What do you mean, who cares? You want to kidnap the children for some reason, but you don't care that the children are about to walk into the fire and die. Why kidnap the children in the first place? I don't get it. This plan is really stupid. Loki yells about slaughtering everyone, but because he is injured and weak, just one punch from Luffy knocks Loki out. Luffy begs Harudin to save Loki's life and they start a blood transfusion. We see a small flashback with Loki and Harudin, and it seems that Loki loved bullying his half-brother. Harudin picks up an axe and is about to kill Loki because there's no way he's going to allow this monster to leave, only for Loki to reveal that, "Do you actually believe I killed our father?" So yeah, it seems that Loki is a good guy. Chapter 1144. The giant MILF shows Frankie an old abandoned laboratory on Elbaph. Lilith and Bonnie arrive and Lilith wants to take over this laboratory because she wants to bring back Kuma and the original Vegapunk from death. She will bring them back with some bullshit science and this is the perfect place to do this. They are attacked by a giant thundercloud, one of the nightmare monsters. In the western village, the giants are about to fight a giant skeleton, one of the nightmare monsters created by Gillingham. And Brooke mentions that the giant skeleton looks like a giant Brooke. Yo ho 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 ah. Colon wants to join the giants in the battle, but he is told that the battlefield is no place for children. And I agree. So of course the Straw Hats, the geniuses that they are, tell the kid to come with them. Nami, Jinbe, Usopp and Brooke are completely fine with taking a kid into a battlefield. And I just find it funny because the giants just told the kid that the battlefield isn't a place for you. So that just shows that Oda wants to write the Straw Hats like they are idiots. I wonder what's gonna happen. We have a bunch of enemies that want to kidnap children. So let's go into a battle against these enemies and let's bring a child with us. What's the worst thing that can happen? Jaguar D. Saul gets in front of the sleepwalking kids with two shields in hand, believing that this will stop the thorns from stabbing him, and the thorns start squeezing the children instead. Robin realizes that the thorns must be a devil fruit ability, and before they can even try to figure out where the devil fruit user is at, they are attacked by a giant monster created by Gillingham, one of the nightmare monsters, and this time it's a giant wolf. We see Tori, Brogy and the rest of the giants fighting these monsters. They manage to defeat a giant serpent, and it's unreal how broken this devil fruit ability is. Imagine having the ability to not only turn into a dragon, but also summoning dozens of giant monsters from people's nightmares. Chapter 1145. Sanji and the giant from Harudin's crew, you know the giant with the living shield, manage to kill what looks like a giant dinosaur. The giant with the living shield reveals that his old man fought against Big Mom, and during that fight, the shield came to life. And I think that we all knew that the shield was a homie created by Big Mom. Loki tells the Straw Hats and Harudin's crew that the God's Knights are on Elbaph, and that they were the ones who attacked him. They cook the dinosaur that they just killed and give the meat for Loki to eat because meat can heal any injuries. One-Piece logic. Luffy, trying to help Loki, accidentally burns Loki twice with hot food and drinks. And Loki just yells for someone to get the idiot away from me. Get Luffy away from me before he kills me. Luffy asks Loki where Shanks is located at, and Loki promises to tell Luffy if the guy is going to unshackle his last chain, so Loki can be a free man once and for all. Tori, Brogy and Scopper Gaban continue killing the giant monsters with ease. These monsters created by Gillingham seemed way stronger when they first were introduced, but I guess Oda nerfed them already. The fire unit that was introduced a few chapters back are trying to extinguish the flames around the children. Saul also managed to kill the giant nightmare wolf off screen. Remember when I said that Gillingham's devil fruit was way overpowered? Yeah, it seems that I'm going to have to take those words back because in these chapters the monsters keep dropping like flies. The kids are about to burn alive, walking inside the fire. The gods' knights seem to take a lot of joy in seeing a bunch of children burn alive. These guys are just laughing and celebrating. Saul, the firefighters, Nico, Robin are all screaming from fear because the children are about to burn alive. And the firefighters, they can't do anything to save the children. The kids are about to burn alive. Oh no, but then don't worry, because Jimbe comes out of nowhere and is able to extinguish the flame. Yeah, Jimbe just arrives on the scene and just takes the flames out. Thank God for characters who are able to teleport to the right place at the right time when they are needed the most. Nami, Jimbe, Usopp, Brook, and the kid that they brought into the war with them. Let me repeat this again. They brought a kid to the war with them. Well, they have all arrived with their flying ship to where the sleepwalking kids are at. And Kanko suddenly appears on their ship. She looks at Kolon and just says that this one is lively. What is their obsession with the giant kids? I still don't get it. Chapter 1146. Kolon asks if the intruder is of a human race, and Kanko just tells Kolon that she is a god. Kolon tells her to bring his friends back, and Kanko just tells him to shut his mouth. We got back to Frankie and the giant MILF, and they have defeated the giant cloud off screen. All these cool monsters are being taken out off screen. Straw Hats, Kolon, and Kunko or Kanko. Either way, it's a weird name. Nami uses Zeus to summon a shark made out of cloud. I guess she can do that now? And Kanko uses her ability to send the shark back at Nami. Brook, Usopp attack Kunko and they manage to kill her. Half her body is missing? Well, that was easy. Oh well, Kanko is dead. Oh, never mind, she regenerated because she is immortal, apparently. It's finally revealed that a war that is about to engulf the whole world is about to begin. And the world nobles sent the gods' knights to kidnap the giants' children as leverage because they want the giants to fight for them. I mean, this is a good plan, kidnapping children so the giants fight for them to get their children back. One little problem with that plan. The only problem with this plan is that it makes no sense at all. It makes 0 sense. In fact, it makes -0 sense. The gods' knights were completely fine with the children walking through the flames and burning alive. Wouldn't that have ruined the entire high IQ genius plan if they allowed that to happen? I mean, sure, yeah, there are other children that they can kidnap once the ones burned alive that were walking to the flames. But if you kill half of the giants' children, why would the giants ever try to fight for you? Even if you take the other half of the children that are asleep in the school as hostages after the first batch of children are dead, the giants would never agree to fight for the world government once you burn half of their kids alive. You can take the rest of the kids as hostage, but if they saw half of their children burning alive, Why would they ever believe that if they fight in a war for you, that they are going to get their children back? I mean, if you burn half of the children alive, and then you take the rest of the children as a hostage, then the giants will just know that, okay, they are hostages and they are probably dead. Like the world government is not gonna keep them alive. We should fight against the world government. They are going to kill our children either way, just like they did with the first batch of children that they burned alive. Shanks's brother's high IQ plan is absolutely retarded. Sorry I had to use that word, but there is no other way to explain this writing. Kanko uses her arrow bandage ability to wrap around Kollon and try to kidnap him away from the Straw Hats. Great idea bringing a child with you to a war. Brooke, Jimbe, Usopp and Nami try to stop her, but she easily dodges their attacks. We got back to Gillingham and he has defeated the director of the school, the guy who looks like a walrus. Next up we see Jaguar D Soul with blood dripping all over him. When did this happen? Literally the last time we saw Saul, he defeated the giant wolf, nightmare wolf summoned by Gillingham. Dude started fighting a saint off screen. It's also revealed that Chopper and Robin are hiding in Saul's beard like cowards. Why are they hiding in Saul's hair? Saul is about to die and they are just hiding? Why doesn't Robin just use her overpowered devil transformation? And why isn't Chopper turning into a monster? I mean, Robin just reunited with Saul only to have him die again in front of her? Because she wants to hide in his beard for no reason at all? Saul passes out from blood loss, I guess. And Robin just cries. I have so many questions. Question number 1. When did this fight start? We never saw this fight start. We got back to Saul and he is already bloody and about to pass out. Literally the last time we saw Saul, he was about to fight a giant wolf. Question number 2. Why did Robin and Chopper hide in Saul's hair instead of, fighting with him against the enemy? Question number 3. Well, this isn't even a question. This is a statement. If Saul actually dies right here, well then that's the most stupid and pointless character death I have ever seen. Chapter 1147. We see a flashback of Saul telling Robin and Chopper, "Do I hide in my beard? This guy is strong." And they do exactly that. Kanko and Sommers are rounding up all the Straw Hats that they defeated, while Robin and Chopper are still hiding in Saul's beard. Nami, Jimbe, Brooke and Usopp have all been captured and are tied up. Why tied up and not killed? I don't know, ask Oda. Kanko tells Brooke that his life will be devoted to making music for her. Turns out that she is a Soul King fan, and I believe this is the first time that we see someone approaching Brooke as a fan. Brooke refuses Kanko's offer, and she kicks him because of that. Sommers broadcasts a message all over Elbaf, and he lets the giants know that he's a member of the God's Knights, and they are kidnapping their children. All the children wake up while still walking in a straight line, and Kolon is walking in front of the line. Tori and Brogy are attacked by Gillingham's creatures, who look like the giants' mothers and wives. All the giants, seeing the manifestations of their wives and mothers, start saying, "I'm so sorry for not taking out the garbage. I'm so sorry for, leaving the toilet seat up." The ship that Tori and Brogy are on falls to the ground, crashing down. and everyone is shocked by that. All the giants are shocked that the giant pirates were defeated. Somers faces the oldest giant Jarul to tell him that he wants the giants to fight for the world government in the upcoming war. They will fight for the world government if they want to see their children again. Somers starts listing off all the names of the children that they have kidnapped, and this is broadcasted all over Elbaf. So now we get a bunch of panels of the parents reacting to their kids being kidnapped. Somers tells Jarul that if he pledges his loyalty to the world government, then all the kids will be fine. He also has to burn down the school and the library. And if he refuses, then the kids will be killed one by one. Nico Robin finally starts doing something instead of cowering in Saul's beard, and we see Scopper Gaban running towards the God's Knights. Chapter 1148. The kidnapped children start walking towards a cliff. If Jarul refuses to burn down the school and the library, then the children will start jumping off a cliff one by one after each other. Kanko mentions that the first kid is ready to jump. Jarul has 30 seconds to give his response before the first kid jumps off the cliff. It seems that Torri and Brogi are fine after the crash because they are making two groups, one to fight the monsters and another group to save the children. Robin finally decides to crawl out of Saul's beard and uses an attack against Somers that actually seems to hurt the guy. Nico Robin uses clutch to snap Somers' spine in half, but since the God's Knights are immortal, Somers gets back up. She then wraps herself around Somers and jumps off the cliff with him. And he uses his ability to have spikes coming out of him. The spikes coming out of him remind me of Miss Doublefinger's ability way back from Alabasta Arc. The spikes impale Nico Robin, but she used a clone, so the clone just disappears and Somers keeps falling off the cliff. There are 10 seconds left before the little girl has to jump off the cliff. And we all know that the 10 seconds will be half an anime episode. The girl with tears in her eyes tells her parents and friends farewell because she knows that she is about to die. The oldest living giant, Beard Hill Jarul, gives the order to burn down the school and the library. He would rather have the library and the school destroyed than to watch any of the children die. In the last chapter, I mentioned that the world government told Jarul that the giants have to pledge their loyalty to the world government. But the reason why the saint also said that you have to burn down the library and the school, well, it's because giants, according to the world nobles, have no need for schools or libraries. According to the nobles, giants only have to fight. All they need to do is fight, because according to the world nobles, education and books are wasted on the giants. Somers gets back up to the cliff with his wine ability, and he gets attacked by Scopper Gaban. Chapter 1149. Somers seems to be in actual pain after Gaban's attack. But he is more surprised that Gaban is on Elbaf in the first place. Gaban keeps slicing Somers in half, and Somers is defeated. He's defeated? What? Yeah, Gaban defeated Somers in like 2 panels. He cut the guy in half and the guy stayed in half. Didn't these guys know how to regenerate? It's a bit ridiculous that Somers and Kanko took out half of the Straw Hats so easily, only for Scopper Gaban to show up out of nowhere and make this enemy look like a joke. I understand that Gaban used to be Pirate King's right-hand man. It's a bit ridiculous that Somers and Kanko took out half of the Straw Hats so easily, only for Scopper Gaban to show up and make the enemy look like a joke. I understand that he used to be the Pirate King's right-hand man, but if he takes out all the enemies so easily, and the Straw Hats keep taking massive L's and losing, then what's the point of Straw Hats? Like, the only Straw Hats that are relevant to the story are Luffy, Zoro and Sanji. Everyone else is just in the story to get their ass beat. When I saw Robin injuring Sommers, I was like, that is a badass moment, only for Gaban to show up out of nowhere, cut Sommers into pieces easily and then run away to look for his son. Gillingham is burning down the library and I highly doubt that he will burn it because Oda went into so much effort to retcon O'Hara and the books surviving. Scopper Gaban arrives to save his child. He arrives on the same cliff where Kanko is keeping the children as hostages. Because Kanko is keeping his child as a hostage, Scopper is unable to attack Kanko. She is using his son as a human shield. Because he is unable to attack her without injuring his own child, he decides to give up and falls off a cliff while Kanko is shooting at him. And he falls to the Underworld. Colon cries out to his father and this triggers something in Kanko because she has a flashback. Yes, she has a flashback of Brooke from the Straw Hats being her father! Dude, what? Huh? What? Huh? You're telling me that Brooke is Kanko's father? And he has never mentioned having a child ever? Like, this arc is absolutely melting my brain. First, it's revealed that Shanks has a twin brother that has never been mentioned by anyone ever. And now it turns out that Kanko may possibly be Brooke's child. Even though Brooke has never mentioned having a child ever in his life. This is too much bullshit for me. Also, Kanko hears the voice of Imusama and the chapter ends. I guess Imusama can just speak to people telepathically or something like that. Anyways, what's next? We had Jaguar D. Saul return. We had Shanks' twin brother. We have Brooke's daughter. Are we going to get Chopper's reindeer family? Are we going to see Luffy's grandma? Maybe we will see Zoro's sister. Who knows? Everything is possible. Chapter 1150. All the parents rush to save their kids. Colin cries because, well, his father fell into the underworld. Before the giants can even save their kids, Kanko turns into a devil. Sure, why not? I guess Imusama turned her into the demon or something. I don't know. Gillingham mentions that there are things, just bear with me, okay, just bear with me. There are things called nightmare holes that will spawn endless monsters, and apparently all the monsters can be revived endlessly. Yeah, they can just be revived endlessly, which is not broken at all. So all the defeated monsters keep crawling out of the nightmare holes to return to the battlefield. Imusama gives orders to Sommers, who is crawling on the ground, no longer cut into pieces. Nami, Usopp, Jinbe, Brook are still tied up by Konko's ability and Robin is tied up by Sommers' ability. Chopper had the time, he would have been able to untie the Straw Hats in the last chapter, but whatever. The less I question this story, the faster I get through the chapter. Kanko flies in front of Tori and Brogy and starts giving them commands. She tells Tori and Brogy to kill Charul, and of course they reject her nice offer. She cuts off Brogy's hand and then she turns Tori and Brogy into giant demons. I have no idea what's even going on. Literally no one had the ability to turn others into monsters, but I guess Imusama did it even though he wasn't on Elbaf. He can just turn anyone into demons while not being on the island. It seems that Emu does not even have to be physically at the location to turn someone into a demon. So who can he turn into demons? We know that he can turn the gods' knights into demons, and the gods' knights can turn anyone else into a demon, like Tori and Brogy. That doesn't make any sense. If Emu-sama is able to turn anyone into a demon just like snap of a finger, then why does he need to recruit the giants into his army? Can't he just turn them all into demons? You know, like Kanko did in this chapter? So yeah, Tori and Brogy start attacking their own allies and a bunch of other giants start turning into demons. If Emu is able to turn anyone into a demon who obeys Emu's every command, why did Shanks' twin brother come up with this stupid idea to kidnap the children of Elbaf so they can use the children as a blackmail to get the parents to join their army? Why did they go through all of that? Why did the past 10 chapters even happen? No, seriously, why did the past 10 chapters even happen? If Emu-sama can possess one of the gods' knights, and the gods' knights can turn like 10 different giants into a demon that obeys Emu's every command, a demon that attacks their own allies, what was the point of kidnapping the children? It makes no sense at all. None of this makes any sense. You need to steal the children so the giants obey your command, but you have the ability to make the giants obey your command. Okay? What am I reading? Chapter 1151. Tori and Brogy are attacking their friends. They are attacking their own allies. Whatever Kanko or Emu-sama did to these guys, it turned them pure evil. They want to find Beard Hill Jarul and they want to kill the guy. Because they want Elbaf to be ruled by evil and ruthless giants, not weaklings like Beard Hill Jarul. Again, if Emu can turn all the giants evil with a snap of his fingers, then what was the point for taking the children as hostages? I have to keep reminding everyone that for like 10 chapters the gods' knights were trying to kidnap the children, to force the giants to fight for them, only for it to be revealed that Emu can randomly turn anyone into an evil demon. This is so stupid. So not only did Tori and Brogy turn into evil demons, but every other giant that tries to fight against Tori and Brogy, they also turn into evil demons. Killingham is now commanding the nightmare creatures to guard the children from the giants who are trying to save the children. Why do they still need to kidnap the children? They already have the full control over the giants, who are turned into demons. But they still need to kidnap the kids? Why? Here's a question. Wouldn't it be more easy for Emu-sama to turn the children into demons and have them all fly away from the island? Maybe have a ship out at the sea for them to land at. And once the children are on the ship, you broadcast a message to the giants of Elbaf, telling them that they need to fight in your war if they want their children back. So instead of turning the children into demons who have wings, by the way, and then have the children fly away from the island, you instead have them walking very slowly in a straight line. Oda, just let me write this story for you because What you have been writing for the past 3 arcs has been complete nonsense. Usopp is yelling at Tori and Brogy for them to snap out of their demon forms, and him yelling does literally nothing. Kanko, who was possessed by Emu in the last chapter and acting weird, still she is in her demon form, but she is acting completely fine. She is acting like herself. We go back a few minutes earlier and see Scopper Gaban falling down Elbaf's underworld. This was when Scopper Gaban was shot by Kanko and he fell down the cliff. After being shot, he fell down from the cliff and Chopper jumped after the guy. While falling, Chopper was able to grab the guy. He turned into guard point and they fell down the mountain, but because Chopper was in his fluffy form, they both survived. The Straw Hats, Hairudin and Loki notice Chopper landing near them. They go out looking for Chopper to see if he is okay. While the Straw Hats are looking for Chopper, someone named Shaggy calls Loki on Loki's Tenden Mushi. I'm not sure how someone who has been tied down for 6 years has a Tenden Mushi next to him, but whatever. The Straw Hats come running back carrying Scopper Gaban. Luffy finds out that Gaban was a Pirate King. Luffy finds out that Gaban was Pirate King's right-hand man. Then there is a massive Haki presence in the sky. And the Straw Hats sense danger while Loki just laughs and tells them that they need Loki to defeat whoever is behind that powerful Haki.
Look at that hover hand. Don't do it. Don't touch me. Don't touch me.